Hi friend, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to our Lash Biz Babes Experience 2026. This is a one-day all online event happening on May 2nd, and our theme for the year is going all in. We are shaking things up and doing it differently than anyone ever has before. This is going to be an all online event as usual, but it's going to be 100% a curated journey throughout your day as we guide you through the mindset, strategy, and passion needed to go all in on your business to make it your best year in business yet. All lash artists, estheticians, and beauty professionals are invited to join us. There will be guided sessions, interactive workshops, a panel discussion, and big giveaways happening throughout that whole day. And tickets are on sale now for only $199. Payment plans are available. Let's go all in on our businesses for 2026 together. All the details and the link for tickets are down in the show notes below. I would love to have you join us online in May. Welcome to Lash Biz Babes, the podcast for solo beauty business owners who want to build a full clientele and create a business and life that they truly love. My name is Erica. I'm your host. I'm a lash artist turned beauty business coach, lash educator, and social media manager for salons and beauty businesses. I'm so happy that you're here. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Welcome to this week's episode of Lash Biz Babes. My name is Erica. I'm your host, and this week is going to be more of a mindset episode. I feel like we haven't done one of those in a while. And I also recently saw a Facebook post that kind of has inspired this. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because that's not the point. But the line that stuck out to me the most is when she said, "I sit and I watch other people change their lives and wonder why I can't do the same." So basically in this post, she's like saying how she feels stuck and depressed. And these are all the things that she wishes she could change. And this is who she wishes she could be. And it was interesting to me because in the post, she even offered for herself like a couple of different solutions or things that she could change to get the end goal that she wants. But then was like, well, but I just feel stuck. So I don't make any changes, or I just don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. So I just don't make any changes. So that's kind of the inspiration for today's episode, because I think there are many times in our lives where we want to make changes. We want to be this better version of ourselves, but how do we do that, right? Or you see other people doing things that you wish you could do, but how do you make changes in your own life? Maybe you just want to be a better version of yourself, but you're like, how do I even get there, right? Or like, what do I even do? Or you're telling yourself these past stories about yourself. Well, this is just how I've always been. So like, I can't make that change. Or I'm not that kind of person, so like I can't do that. So you have these stories about yourself in your head and that aren't always necessarily true, and you're holding your own self back, right? And the thing about this is that like no one's going to come in and make these changes for you in your life. I didn't respond to that girl's post, but if I would have said something, I probably would have said something like that. Like no one is going to come in and do it for you. Other people's lives, you're watching them change their lives because they are doing the hard work of self-reflection and making changes and getting outside of their comfort zone and doing the things that are required of you to be a better version of yourself, or to be a different version of yourself that you want to be, or to achieve a goal that you want to achieve that you've never done before, right? Like no one's going to come in and do that for you. Nothing's magically going to change. And like in that post, she was talking about, I've like prayed to God and like asked him to help me with these things, and I just feel nothing and nothing's changed. And it's like, it's not going to magically happen for you. And it's interesting to me because I feel like no matter what your beliefs are, whether you believe in God or the universe, manifestation, a mix of it all, or whatever it is, like some type of higher power, like, yes, I feel like there's kind of an intersection in that, which I could do a whole episode on in itself, and it probably would be controversial because anyway, I'm not going to get too far into that. But I feel like the concepts behind these things are very similar, where like you are speaking something into existence or praying for something or asking the universe for whatever it is you're wanting, right? And then you're having the faith that that's going to happen, that or better, right? Or something, it's going to happen for you, but then you have to go out and make the changes necessary, right? You have to go out and do your part to take action on that. It's not just going to happen because you prayed for it. It's not just going to happen because you're manifesting it or you're journaling about it or you're asking for it whatever. You still have to go out and put yourself in positions where that could happen. You still have to go out and make changes that are necessary to make that happen for you. It's so interesting to me how those concepts seem very similar in my opinion. And like, even if it doesn't happen this way, just like having faith that it's going to happen, or even if it doesn't happen the way you thought it was going to, or even if you're like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but like having faith that it will, and then taking action because you know it's going to happen for you in one way or another, even if it's not exactly what you asked for, right? It's very interesting to me. I'm not going to get too, like I said, I'm not going to get too far into like that whole thing because that's not the point of this episode. But the point I just wanted to make was that regardless of your beliefs or how you view things, you still have to go take the action, right? It's not just all like the woo-woo stuff and like the journaling and the manifesting and the praying and like all those things. It's also like get up and do something about it. Get up and work for it. And even if you don't know, like, how can I make these changes? How can I do this thing? How can I achieve this goal? Like, you're still gonna act on it and gradually try and do better for yourself or make changes, because at the end of the day, the decisions and the actions and the habits and the thoughts that you've had thus far are what have gotten you to where you're at today. So if you want to be a different or a better version of yourself, or you want to achieve different things, you have a goal or a dream you're working towards, you're going to have to make different decisions and have different habits and thoughts and mindsets and actions to get you to that next version of yourself. You can't go the same way that you always have and expect it to take you to a new destination. And I think this is where it can be very difficult because most people are not willing to look at themselves and self-reflect and figure out, where am I holding my own self back, right? No one wants to like really do that hard self-reflection. It's not a fun thing to do, but it's a necessary thing to do if you want to be a different version of yourself or you want to make changes in your life. Because that all starts with like, okay, what changes are we going to make? Well, self-reflecting, where do I need to improve at, right? You can watch people do it around you all day long, make changes and do better for themselves, but nothing's going to change if you aren't changing. So that starts with that self-reflection of like, where am I at? Who am I right now? Even the parts of you that maybe aren't quite how you want them to be yet. So like for me, this is just like a dumb example, but I've not always had the best like cleaning routines, and being able to like stay up on top of those things is kind of hard for me sometimes. And that's part of me that like I recognized I wanted to change a few years back. And so that's something that I've been working on and working towards. I'm not perfect with it by any means, but I do so much better now than I did before. But I had to start with like, okay, recognizing that, hey, I'm not very good at this, and this is something that I want to do better at. So with this self-reflection, something that I've done in the past, and as I think about it, I'm like, man, I haven't done this in a while. I should do this again. But just kind of like, who is that version of yourself that you want to be? And that doesn't mean that has to be like the end all be all end goal, but what does that look like? Who is she? What does she do? What routines does she have? What habits does she have? What thoughts does she have? Like, what mottos does she live by? What standards do they live by? Does she live by, right? So that's something that I did actually back in like 2021 when I was really making a lot of changes, doing a lot of self-reflection, like, oh, I need to go to therapy, like all these kinds of things, right? And it was like, okay, so that version of myself that I want to be, like, she's got really good cleaning routines. Literally, I wrote that down. She's got really good cleaning routines. She makes this much money every month. She keeps going when things are hard. She's really present with her kids. She's a lot more patient with them. All these different things. I work this many hours in a week, and I have all these systems in place for the business. So like I've got all my sales systems and my marketing, all these things. Okay, this is who I want to be. So what does she have? Who is she, right? And I was kind of like listing this out of like who, what I would need to be that version of myself. And it was interesting or funny because I like looked at that list after I got done, and I was like, whoa, this feels so unattainable. Like, this is so much. It's like a lot. How am I even going to make this a reality? And then the thought that I had was like, well, this is just unattainable, so why even try? And then I was like, wait, like the thought literally directly after that was like, okay, like, wait, let's rein that back in, okay? It's not unattainable. It is a lot, but like, we can do it little by little. And now, 4 or 5 years later, since I made that list, I'm not going to say I've achieved every single thing on it, but I do a lot better with a lot of the things. And it's been like a slow process of changing, right? And I've slowly morphed into a more embodied version of that list I had made of who I wanted to be. And it's been a lot of giving myself grace and making changes, but it's so funny because I originally felt like it was so unattainable. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, like a lot of this is really second nature to me now. And maybe I haven't achieved all of it yet. Maybe I'm not quite who I want to be, or maybe some of that has changed and evolved and morphed into something new. But like, I thought that was unattainable. And now look at me. I have a lot of this. I do a lot of this. I don't even think twice about a lot of this anymore. That's the thing about it, is it can become second nature. And like, I really had to break a lot of my own belief systems of like, this is who I am, or I can't do better. This is just how I was raised, right? That doesn't have to hold you back. Like, that doesn't have to define you or who you are or who you can become. There's so much that could go into this, but I just wanted to inspire you with this of like, you can change your life even when you're feeling stuck or down or depressed, or how could I even do that, or it's unattainable. And start with that self-reflection. Who do you want to be? What does that look like? What does she have? What does she do? What is she doing each day? And then starting to make slow changes with that. And I'm going to be honest, you want to know like the dumb little thing that kind of was one of the first changes I made to just like, okay, this feels like a lot, so I'm just going to start with one tiny little bit. The first habit that I really put into play, like, I was like, okay, what habits can I change? It's just making my bed every morning. This is literally it. It's like, this is so much and so overwhelming. So what's something little I can start with that I know I can commit to every single day, or I know I can commit to most days? And it was literally just making my bed in the morning. And as I started getting up and doing that each morning, I'm like, okay, I'm building more confidence in myself. Like I said, this is what I said I was going to do. Then I went out and did it. And now like, it's second nature. I'm just like, oh yeah, let's just make the bed. I don't even think twice about it anymore, which is something so little and so dumb. Now I can like kind of habit stack on top of that. Okay, right? I would have got that done. And now that's one little base habit. I'm building my foundation, and now I can build on that. And I can, I can do these little things, and it's just kind of like grown into bigger things, right? So like that, I don't know, that sounds so tiny and small and like dumb of a habit, but that's truly something that was like, okay, I'm just going to start with something small that I know I can commit to and follow through on. And it's was like kind of like a spark that helped me, start to make a lot of these changes that I wanted to. But I think when you start doing this too, at least for me, I don't, maybe other people are different, but for me, I ran into a lot of negative self-talk and like, well, are you even cut out for this? Maybe you should just quit, blah, blah, blah. And you like run into all these things. And I think it really takes like, you have to be very, how do I want to phrase this? Like, you have to be very self aware of your own thoughts, in the sense of, like I said, like, no one's going to come in and change it and do it for you. Like, no one knows like the thoughts that are going through your head. And like, for me, it's been like, I have to be my own biggest cheerleader. Like, yes, I have support and encouragement from outside sources, but on the hard days, I have to be the one to like pull myself and get myself up. You're going to have to be the one to pull yourself out of it and like get yourself out of it. But also, if you are having negative self-talk or doubts or limiting beliefs, like, you have to recognize those things for what they are. And no one else can do that for you. You have to be really self-aware of your thoughts. For me, it's like, oh, well, maybe you're not cut out for this. Okay, wait, no, like, stop. I have to really think it to myself, like, that doesn't have to be true. Maybe I don't have all of the resources I need to reach this goal yet, or I'm not quite there yet, but I can get there and I'm working on it. And like reframing that. So recognizing it, reframing it, and giving yourself a new positive affirmation. And that's not to say like it's just going to automatically go away overnight and you're never going to have a hard thought about yourself again, or you're never going to struggle with that again. But doing this repeatedly, like, it changes your thoughts and your thought patterns, and it kind of like rewires things in your brain. For me, the positive affirmations or the positivity or the reframed thoughts are more of my second nature, like my default now. Not to say I still don't have hard thoughts sometimes, or I'm still not negative towards myself or down on myself sometimes, but like, those are not my default anymore. But that takes a consistent pattern of like reframing it and giving yourself grace. One way I've heard this phrase before that has really stuck with me, and something that I've written down on sticky notes and I remind myself of this all the time, is like, she is waiting for you. That next version of yourself is waiting for you. and they're cheering you on and you're cheering yourself on. That's kind of something that pulls me through too. That next version of myself is waiting on me and depending on me, that future version of self. And as a mom, that's also like, well, my kids are depending on me for that. The future versions of themselves, they need me to show up for myself. And I know like this is really not the easiest thing to do. And it's kind of just like a continual process. But I think it's so worth it to just like sit down in the morning and take those few minutes to just focus on like, okay, what am I focusing on today? What, habits am I working on? So I actually got like this, well, my sister got me this little like gratitude journal, and it's like a habit tracker too. So I feel like sometimes it can be hard to keep up with just because I'm not good at sitting down and doing it every single day, but it has really helped me to like make sure that I'm focusing on it every day. And I think she just got this on Amazon, but just something to like keep you accountable. You can also have like accountability partners in this, whether that's like a spouse or a partner or like a friend, family member, just someone to check in with, and or something to check in with if you're doing it like the journal route of, what am I working towards? How am I doing that? So a really good book that I read was The Badass Habits by Jen Sincero. I think that's how you say her name. And she has like a few different books, like you're a badass, how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. That was a really good one. Like you're a badass at making money. But the badass habits one really kind of opened my mind to the habits side of things. And I think that was just a really easy, small place to start with something like this of like making changes that you want to. So those are some books that I would recommend on that one. All in all, like I was saying at the beginning, like it starts with you and being willing to look at yourself, self-reflect, and what am I doing to hold myself back? Whether that's with your habits or your thoughts or your mindset or like the way that you have, I don't know, like sometimes it can be little changes like this, but sometimes it can be like big changes too. Maybe you need to, switch jobs or get a new living situation or whatever that looks like. It's okay to change your mind and make changes and pull yourself out of that if that's like a big change that you need to make. But I just hope that you will love yourself enough to do this self-reflection and make the changes that are necessary, and to overall, like in your heart, feel worthy enough to make those changes. Because that's something that I've also seen as well, where like people recognize that they're stuck. They recognize where they're holding themselves back. They recognize these changes that they need to make, and they don't do it because they don't feel worthy enough for it. Well, like your self-worth and your confidence and all that, like they don't feel worthy of or deserving of a better version of themselves or a better life or all the good things, all like good things in life. So they don't, like, they just stay stagnant and they don't make those changes. And I don't want that to be you. Like, you are deserving of it and worthy of it. And you've done so many incredible and amazing things already in your life. Even if you have gone through hard things, like you've gotten yourself to where you're at right now. You're literally listening to this right now. So to me, that tells me that you want to do better for yourself and you want to work towards, a big goal or become a better version of you. And that you are highly deserving of that. You are worthy and valuable and loved and cared about. And God and the universe are looking out for you, and they're going to help you make that happen. And you just have to start making those changes, even if it starts with something really small and silly as like making your bed every morning. So that's what I'll leave you with. You are loved, you are worthy, you are valuable, and you are worth it. Like, you are worth doing all these hard things for and making these changes. And not only, your future self will thank you for it, your, future kids, if that's in the cards for you or something that you want, will thank you for it. Because as a parent, for me, I'm like, well, my ceiling is my kids' ground floor. So the further I can get, the further ahead they can be, right? So that's something that I think about from like a parent perspective as well. But I just hope and pray that you have a wonderful week, and, start small, make these changes, and just remember that you are worth it and that no one is going to come save you or do it for you. It all starts with you and your thoughts and habits and making those changes that you need to do better for yourself and make a better life for yourself. So I love you. Have the best week ever, and I will talk to you again next week.